Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Breaking news at this hour as Billings firefighters and rescue crews are currently on the scene of a rescue up on the rims. Around 8:30, a call came in that a man had fallen while rappelling down the rims near Swords Park. Took rescue crews over an hour to get to him, but they were eventually able to bring him to safety around 9:30 tonight. Witnesses say it appears the man has a broken leg, but it doesn't look like he has any other major injuries. And there you see him bringing him up to the top. Well, Montana is less than 2 weeks away now from moving to phase 2 of the governor's reopening plan. Beginning June 1st, the 14-day quarantine for anyone coming into Montana is lifted. Gatherings may now expand to 50 people and can be even larger as long as social distancing can be observed. Restaurants and bars will be able to let even more customers in, increasing their capacity to 75%. Bowling alleys and concert halls will also be able to operate with reduced capacity and strict social distancing. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has a closer look at what will change in phase 2.
Governor Steve Bullock said Tuesday that Montana remains in a better position than many other states when it comes to COVID-19, and that allows leaders to begin planning for the second phase of reopening the state. Bullock says phase 2 will start on June 1st, just under 2 weeks away. That means restaurants, bars, breweries, and casinos can operate at 75% capacity, with social distancing still in place. Gatherings of up to 50 people will be allowed instead of 10. Even larger groups may be possible if distancing can be maintained and public health leaders agree. In addition, Bullock announced Montana will lift the 14-day quarantine that has been required for visitors coming from other states. He says the state will employ a robust public health plan in tourist communities, including surveillance testing for COVID-19. Bullock said the success of the reopening will depend on residents and visitors alike continuing to follow health precautions.
Look, every step that we take beyond a stay-at-home order and closing down all businesses indeed presents risk of more transmission. I certainly expect out-of-state visitors to take this seriously as Montanans have.
Earlier in the day, Bullock toured a state stockpile in Helena, which currently includes hundreds of thousands of N95 masks, other personal protective equipment, and COVID-19 testing kits. He said these supplies will be crucial as Montana continues to open up.
By and large, compared to where we were even 6 weeks ago, we're in a great position, and we're prepared to keep our healthcare providers and first responders equipped all throughout COVID-19.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Well, the governor said the health precautions he's asking all Montanans and visitors to observe must be part of a new normal here in the state. As summer slowly works its way to Montana, it looks like state restrictions won't prevent people from taking a swim. Starting June 1st, swimming pools will also be able to open at 75% capacity. Q2's Mitch Legge brings us a look at Billings pools prepare to open.
It's a little too early to catch some of the usual sights and sounds of a 95-degree day at a Billings swimming pool, but after Governor Bullock shifted the state into phase 2, kids will soon be jumping into the water at the Billings City Pools and Oasis Water Park in the Heights.
I'm just really grateful that the governor made that decision to open up to phase 2 so that we can serve our kids and families.
Barthuli said Oasis is shooting for the opening date of June 1st, and the pool will be filled with water within the week. When dosed with proper chemicals, pool water itself does not transmit COVID-19 according to the Centers for Disease Control. Oasis staff test the pool water 3 times per day. Once open, there will also be hand sanitizer and wipes for customers to use and distance markers in the lobby. Barthuli said the practice of social distancing amongst people when they're in the park will mostly be left up to patrons.
If they're concerned about it, we're going to have them swim with a noodle and try not to touch each other's little water noodles. We thought we could have some fun with it. But ultimately, it comes down to people's own response to how comfortable they are being with the community. We don't know if it's a friend or if it's a family member. So for us to try to police that, I don't think that's something that we can do.
Barthuli said Oasis lifeguards will be there to watch for safety in the water, not social distancing. As for pools operated by the city, they are trying to open by June 3rd. Billings Parks and Recreation Superintendent Corey Thompson told me over the phone today that the city has hired 43 seasonal staff members to work at the Billings parks, and social distancing procedures at the city pools will be worked out with county health officials. Summer's coming, everybody. Just don't forget your towel. In Billings, Mitch Schlaggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks, Mitch. And he says the city pools are not currently selling season passes because there's too much uncertainty with the refund if the governor does force another closure. Well, just following the governor's news conference this afternoon, Ravalli County health officials reported that 6 of 9 pending tests have been confirmed positive for COVID-19. This news comes after one person had tested positive for the coronavirus on Sunday. These new cases are being classified as a cluster outbreak, which means the individuals identified as all male were together. An early investigation indicates travel has played a role. Now, the first case is currently hospitalized while the other 6 are isolated at home. Public health officials in Ravalli County have placed more than 30 identified contacts in quarantine. And there are currently 7 active cases there in Ravalli County. Earlier in the day, the state did report 1 new positive case right here in Yellowstone County. State health officials also say 3 more people have now recovered from the virus. And in Wyoming, there are 6 more COVID-19 cases reported tonight. We also learned that 9 previous positive cases have been traced back to Worland Healthcare and Rehabilitation Center, which is a long-term care facility there. 5 of those cases are staff members, while the other 4 are residents. There are more results pending. Wyoming still has the lowest coronavirus death count in the nation at 10. Well, President Trump is doubling down on defending his use of the anti-malaria drug hydroxychloroquine for COVID-19 prevention. Monday, the president revealed he's been taking that drug for nearly 2 weeks after consulting his doctor. Natalie Brand is at the White House with the latest.
During a White House cabinet meeting, President Trump defended his use of hydroxychloroquine and disparaged studies that showed the drug had dangerous side effects.
There was a false study done where they gave it to very sick people. I think it's worth it as a line of defense, and I'll stay on it for a little while longer.
The president also signed an executive order to slash regulations in order to jumpstart the economy.
We must continue to cut through every piece of red tape.
Earlier, President Trump traveled to Capitol Hill to meet with Senate Republicans.
We had a great meeting.
And he hosted farmers at the White House to announce a multi-billion-dollar plan to give relief payments to food suppliers hit hard by the pandemic and purchase food for food banks.
Sign-ups will begin on May 26th through your local Farm Service Agency offices. You got to go sign up to pick it up, to get the money.
The president has also sent a scathing 4-page letter to the World Health Organization, threatening to permanently freeze its funding unless the agency commits to major changes in the next 30 days.
They have to be much more fair to other countries, including the United States, or we're not going to be involved with them anymore. We'll do it a separate way.
The WHO's Director General agreed to undertake an independent review. Meanwhile, during a remote hearing, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell gave the Senate Banking Committee an update on federal relief programs.
What Congress has done to date has been remarkably timely. I do think we need to take a step back and ask, over time, is it enough?
I think the job numbers will get worse before they get better.
The Treasury Secretary says the federal government has distributed nearly $1 trillion of relief aid, which is about a third of what's been approved by Congress so far. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
Well, Vice President Mike Pence says he's not taking that anti-malaria drug. The FDA has issued warnings against taking it for the coronavirus unless hospitalized under strict doctor's supervision. And also today it was announced by Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that the U.S.-Canada border will remain closed for all non-essential travel until at least June 21st. All right, turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. And Bob, there's a downside to the warmer weather we've been having, and that's the risk of thunderstorms goes up.
And we had some big ones tonight, especially just to the east of Harleton, also through Golden Valley, all the way into Muscle County. Let me show it to you on the Doppler radar. You can see these big thunderstorms as they made their way through the Billings area. And in some cases, I should say the Billings area, from basically from Harleton to Rygate and on and towards Roundup. In some cases, we actually had some little funnel clouds trying to develop, but we never could confirm that. But the radar was showing there was a little spin in the atmosphere, and we had some large much hail moving through there, from ping pong ball to golf ball to $half size hail on the storms that have made their way up towards Roundup, now into Fergus County. So looks like the threat for the Billings area, most of that stuff has gone away from us. So here's what we're looking here. Out in western Montana or Valley County, we still have a flood watch there. To the north of Missoula, the Clark Fork River, that's in flood warning. That's expected to go out of its banks probably next day or so. So we're looking at some heavy rain in that area, and that's going to cause that rivers to swell. Back here in Billings, we're looking at some generally nice weather for again tomorrow. We'll have more about that coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, despite today's announcement that Montana will soon go to phase 2 of its reopening plan, Cascade County commissioners have decided to cancel the Montana State Fair in Great Falls. The fair was scheduled to run July 24th through August 1st at Montana Expo Park. The cancellation of the State Fair just adds to scores of summer events across Montana that have already been canceled due to these restrictions. After today's announcement, we did touch base with Ray Massey, the Director of Marketing and Sales at Mentor Park. He says Montana Fair is still on, and today's announcement does not change that. Montana Fair is scheduled for August 7th through the 15th. All right, still to come on tonight's Q2 10 o'clock news. Yesterday, we met the Republican candidates for governor. Tonight, we dive into the Democrats vying for the open seat. And in sports, a wild pitch leads to a wild finish that Montana softball fans won't soon forget. Scott looks back at a memorable state title for West High.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.